I thought I'd show you how to create user groups, how to create category, how to link all of that together. But then I've got to say our page doesn't look very nice, so we could create 1 or 2 pages first, that it looks a bit more realistic. Should we stick with the clothes example or no? So what should we do? The easiest thing is if we just leave it, because we got it already. But then I'll need your help because I'm not an expert in clothes. Okay, so let's think about let me try. That's our picture from last week. Yeah, this was the example with different user groups. Yeah, the circle represented the group, and the point was here we can have many users in one group. So the red circle was the group for all the users who are allowed to edit trousers. The green circle was the group for all the users allowed to edit shoes. I mean, that was our example. But let's come up with something concrete for our web page. So we are selling clothes. So we'll need to let's create 2 or 3 sample product pages. And I've got to emphasize, we are not an online shop. So maybe we are manufacturing those clothes, or I don't know. But this is not about creating an online shop. It's about creating a web page with content. So what pages should we create? Jumpers. My pen doesn't work. Why does that not work now? Yeah, I could have drawn I would have written down the names of the pages and so on. Okay, so let's think of some sample content. So let's just keep it in our head. So you write it down on the sheet of paper in front of you. What kind of categories do we have? What are we making? What are we selling? We are making. So are we making them? Yeah. So what clothes are we making? Jumpers. We're making jumpers. Anything else? T-shirts. Okay, we're making jumpers and T-shirts. Okay, let's stick with that. So categories. The question now is, do we do it by gender, or do we do men or women in the categories, or do we do it by product group? I could write it in. Let's do a OneNote. Okay, so we're making jumpers. Is it big enough? Oh, now let's try to zoom in. We're making jumpers and T-shirts. Okay, so we want to show our jumpers and our T-shirts on our web page. Do we have one employee or one group of employees responsible for all the jumpers and one group of employees responsible for all the T-shirts? Or do we have one employee responsible for all the males, one for all the females, or do we do it by age? How do we manage it?
One person for each category.
Okay, so we don't do it by age, we don't do it by gender, we do it by, this is the jumper specialist or whatever, and this is the t-shirt specialist. Okay, that's the most straightforward way. So in that case, not much more to write down. I'll get rid of those things here, we don't need them anymore. Dash. Okay, new. So what am I doing now? Oh, you tell me what I'm doing.
Publishing, aren't you? You're writing an article.
No, if I look at the top left.
New category.
Yeah, so I'm creating a category. So let's put this up again. So we have a jumper category, and it would be nicer, if I would make some drawings, but it doesn't work. So let's stick with me typing this stuff up. So anybody here knows about jumpers? I hate that with OneNote. Okay, so did somebody say cashmere? Yeah. Cashmere is a kind of wool, is it? And then we also have normal wool. What's normal wool called? Wool. Yeah, but cashmere is a kind of wool, so there must be an overarching sheep's wool. And cashmere, what animal is that? It's kind of, Angora. Yeah. Are there cotton jumpers? Yeah. But now even in the group of wool jumpers, there could be many different articles we want to create. So permission-wise, how do we do it? Do we have a group of employees who can do all sorts of jumpers?
Oh, so you could then break it down.
Yeah. So, we can start with a simple situation. Let's say we just have the jumper category, and we put all those different kinds of jumpers in there. How do we differentiate between the different jumpers? We could do different tags, for example. I showed you tags last week. The same for t-shirts. I don't think there will be many Angora t-shirts, but there will be some sort of different... Silk, yeah? Or we could rename it to shirts, and then there's t-shirt and all sorts of things. Okay, so you're the content specialists. Let's keep it simple for now. We can make it more complicated later. So we say there's jumpers, and this is a category. So our different articles can be grouped together using this category. And because I know I'm gonna create a new category after this anyway, I click Save and New. It will save this category. It will immediately create a new one. I could write a description here, but I'll leave that for a later stage. So the other category, was it t-shirts or do we do shirts? T-shirts. T-shirts. And I guess, if we were a real company, we would have some sort of style guide to work with. Yeah. Do we do a hyphen or not? Is the S uppercase or not? Because we want some sort of consistency here. Okay, I save it and close it. Okay, I've got two categories now. Now I can create an article. So so we do a Christmas cashmere jumper. Yeah, jumper. So what animal is cashmere? Yeah. Okay.
A giraffe.
From a giraffe? Nah, Cashmere. It's from a cashmere goat. Okay. Only the finest cashmere goats have been chosen to provide the wool for our deluxe 2017 Christmas jumper.
Your Christmas present list. You researched this already.
No, I didn't even know it's cashmere is from a goat, so it's just some marketing blah blah, you know, they always come up with unrealistic things. Okay, we need a picture. So let's look for
I managed to avoid one of my own pictures. Oh, you're going to put me that out to... Go where I wanted it to go.
No, I don't really know.
okay, here's our photo. So and to comply with all the rules, because I take the picture from here, to do everything by the book, I need to attribute the creator of that picture. So let's save this for now. Save and close. Let's upload a picture. Media. So I'll do a whole folder for our jumpers. Jumpers. Here's our jumper folder. Let's upload a picture. Here we are. Okay, so here's our Christmas cashmere jumper. Let's put the picture in. Now there are many ways of putting pictures in. We could put a picture in this way. You know, you can explore all the different ways another time, and it would take a long time, and I want to concentrate on categories. So jumpers, here we are. Image description. Insert, here we are. Okay, so we got our first article page. I haven't put it in our category yet, so let's say this goes into the jumper category. Featured, anybody remembers what featured is for?
It puts it on your front page.
Yeah, I mean if we configure the front page that way, but usually that's how people do it. Here let's say, you know, because we don't want to bother people too early, let's say if it was May, I don't want to have our Christmas jumper already be on the web page in May. People would get a bit confused, so I could say only start this and that day. Or, you know, Christmas, when is Christmas over? When should we stop showing this article? Yeah. New Year's Eve?
No. Got my Christmas jumper day on New Year's Eve.
So when's the last?
24th.
24th. Okay. Any specific time? Let's just leave 1822 because I'm lazy. Okay. So save and close. Okay. So at the moment, did we click? Let's go to the front page. Did I click that it's a featured article? No. Okay. Let's create a menu. Or I should say a menu item, and if we use Joomla language, those things we can delete, we don't have that anymore. Trash. Okay. So this is our jumpers, and I want to see articles, and I want to see, let's say, all the latest articles about jumpers like a blog. Like one after the other. So let's do that. Which category? The jumper category. So I'll display all jumper articles in blog form, independent of tag. Save and close. Okay, the load. Our jumpers. Click. Here it is. Christmas cashmere jumper. Yeah. Okay. Now I could have lots of articles in that category, and what else could I do? I could let's look at tags as a last thing before we move on. Tags. So this is cashmere. Oh, sorry. Cashmere. Anything else? Yeah, Christmas maybe. Because then we could have a menu just for all our Christmas articles. And this one, is it unisex or is it male or female? If you look at this jumper. Well, it's Christmas things are often very male or female or unisex. You wanted clothes, so you need to say. You need to tell us. Male. Yeah, he's male, but a woman could also wear it, possibly. Not. No. Okay. Male. Oh, spelled wrong. Delete it. Male. Now that I've entered it wrong once, it wants to. Male. Yeah. And now I don't want this to click on it.
Why don't you leave that one on, then type male again, then delete the other one?
No, because now some autocorrect from my browser will override it.
Tap another layer, then delete that layer.
No, escape. It's an operating system thing, it's not a Joomla thing. Anyway, now I pressed escape and then it fixed the autocorrect. Okay, yeah, okay, save and close. So, and let's imagine now we want a user. Who's our... let's do the group first. So, we want a group for users who can edit jumpers. Think of the picture from last week. So I create the group first, and then we can populate the group with users. So groups. So at the moment there are these built-in groups, and there's a YouTube video from me where I explain the differences. So they have certain permissions that come with them. For example, an author can write articles. An editor, he can write and edit articles. A publisher can write, edit, and publish articles, and so on. And you can see, look, this is a bit indented. That means this is a child of this group. Now, in the context of permissions, parents and childs means the parent have certain permissions. The child inherits those permissions, and we can then modify things, we can override things. So let's say if we wanted a group that is very similar to author, for argument's sake, then we could just say this is our group, the parent is author, and it saves us setting up all the standard rules, and we then inherit all the author permissions, and we then just change the ones where we want a difference. So it saves us effort in setting it up. By making it a child, we automatically inherit all the parent settings, and then we just modify those we want to change. There's an additional trick to it, which I'll come to later. But let's start here now. So, what's the group title called? This is the people who can edit jumpers. What do we call the group? Jumper group. Jumper group. Okay, and now it asks what should the parent be. We always need to decide on a parent. So what can our jumper group do? You tell me. Can they write articles?
Write and edit.
They can edit them. Can they also publish them? So the difference between editing and publishing is if you edit them, you can write, you can edit in the background, but they don't go live to the front end. Yeah? They stay in the back end until somebody with publishing permissions basically says, this is good enough to leave the back end, it goes to the front end. Yeah. So that very much depends on your organization. I assume if you're the BBC, maybe only very few people will have publishing rights. Lots of people maybe can write articles, but maybe some sort of publisher needs to check for spelling mistakes, needs to check does it comply with our rules and regulations, and is it important enough to be published. But if we are a small manufacturer, we only have a handful of employees, maybe they can do everything, including publishing. So in our example, we established we want to write and edit. Can this group also publish? Or does then somebody else come and have to publish it?
So who has the most power out of author, edit and publisher? Would it be the publisher?
Yeah, they have different permissions. So if I would make it, now I decide who's the parent. Now if I say it's the parent is author, then I inherit all the author permissions, which means our jumper group can write articles.
Let that be the publisher, and then
if I do publisher, then I inherit all the publisher permissions.
Yeah, and then the different types of jumpers are authors and editors. So editor. So then they write all the stuff in the background, but then So if I inherit the editor settings, we can write it and we can edit it, but we can't make it go live. We can't make it move to the front end. So what do we want in our company? There's no right and wrong answer. It depends on how our company works. I'm saying if you put the jumper group as the publisher, and then Kashmir and all the different ones as editors, then. But
Kashmir and so on doesn't have its own group at the moment. It doesn't have its own category. So at the moment we can't do a special case for Kashmir because Kashmir is not a category. We could do that down the line, but it's gonna be a much more complicated setup.
Put them as an
editor, okay. And then somebody else has to decide this can go live. Okay. Save and close. So we got our jumper group. I can do an advanced permissions report. Now it will tell me what kind of things can this group do. For example, here t-shirts. So we can log on. We can't log on as an admin. If we have a user who's only part of this group, they can't log on to the back end. They can create, they can edit their own stuff and so on. Okay. So let's go to our category again. Jumpers. And now let's go to permissions. And let's have a look what the jumper group can do at the moment. So at the moment we can create. We can edit. and edit the state. Yeah, this is where we change the state of an article. So for example, we changed it to published or something like that. So we can't do that at the moment.
So publish, can't publish it.
So at the moment we can't publish it because we are a child of editor. We are not a child of publisher. Publisher is allowed to edit the state. Edit the state is what we need to make it go live. Okay, I show you a problem with our current setup. Let's create, let's go to the t-shirt group. Let's go to permissions, jumper group. Look, at the moment, our jumper group can also create, our jumper group here can create here in the t-shirt category. Yeah. Because by default, author, editor, publisher, they can work in all the groups. Now there's a complicated thing, and I would prefer it if I could use the pen at the moment, but it doesn't work. But we've got this inheritance. Basically, let's say so here's the parent, and we've got something that is allowed. Or let's give it a label. So what should be allowed? Let's call it okay. Let's say create and edit as an example. So let's say if the parent has create, allowed, and edit not allowed, and we then create a child, by default it will inherit everything. Inherit. Okay, so my question to you, is the child allowed to create? Yeah. Is the child allowed to inherit?
No.
No. Okay. What we can do is we can explicitly deny some permission. So we can override whatever we inherited. The difference now is editing is not allowed, but it's kind of an implicit not allowed. We never explicitly said this is not allowed. If something is only inherently not allowed, we can override it. Yeah. We could say this should be allowed. But if we ever explicitly deny something, we can never undo that. That's the big problem here. If we explicitly deny something for a group, we can't make good for it. And think of the picture from last week, which unfortunately isn't there anymore. I can try to draw the picture again with the mouse. Yeah. Oh, does the pen work now? No. Oh no, the picture is still here. Okay. Okay, let me move it over. Yeah. Well, I can't. Oh, this is a mess. Okay, so if we have two groups, let's say if we explicitly deny something in this group, and we've got a user here, think of this user is in both groups. If we explicitly deny something in this group, even though it's allowed in that other group, this user will never be allowed to do it. Yeah. So let's say half of you can edit jumpers, half of you can edit t-shirts. So everyone left of my hand, you can all edit t-shirts, you can all edit jumpers. You are in both groups. Yeah. If I want to build my permissions by saying the t-shirt people, no, which one are you? You're the jumper people.
Yeah.
So the jumper people, we explicitly deny you permission to edit the t-shirts. Then you will be in both groups, and even though it's allowed from this side, we explicitly denied it from the other side. The moment, if you're a member of several groups, the moment you got an explicit deny from any of the groups you're a member of, it will always be denied. So this default grouping that comes with Joomla is quite good for many circumstances, but there'll be a lot of circumstances where it doesn't work. So let me go back. Yeah. So if you want to build a kind of web page where you have, let's say, t-shirt users, jumper users, and some people who can do both, then the best thing is actually not to inherit the settings, but to build the whole thing from scratch without any permissions, and then you start allowing things. Because then you only have implicit denies. The moment you have an explicit deny, then a user in that kind of group can't edit things or create things or publish things
so if you
anymore.
do that second way, you can't mess it all.
Say again?
So if you do it the second way, you can't mess it all.
Yeah, but maybe your company works completely different. Maybe instead of having different parts you want to control, maybe instead of having some sort of horizontal distribution of work, maybe you've got some sort of vertical distribution of work. Maybe you got some apprentices, they write all your articles independent of category, and some higher up employees who then check that, and some super employees who then publish that. So it really much depends on how you organize the way your website works.
Matt, where do we go so we've all got that template and that test, haven't we, that's on the screen?
What template?
The one that was set up already.
Yeah.
So if we want to start afresh, create our own, but on the test page, where do we actually go to start a fresh template? Start a new one?
When you say template, you mean the sample data?
So that samples there to this. So I've been practicing, I've changed all sorts online. I want to bin that and I want to start practicing my own. So how do I start afresh?
You download Joomla, you unzip it, you send it to a different folder on the web server, and then you do the installation again in a different folder.
So you've got to go through all that again?
Yeah.
So even if I'm just in test?
Or if you made an
start a clean page within that somewhere.
You can start a clean page. I can. Let's close this down. I can start a clean page in a sense that I can start a clean article. I can start an empty article. But our menus and everything are. No, you go to reinstall it, or you go to your earliest Akiba backup and you restore that. But restoring an Akiba backup is also not easy. So it's less work if. Installing Joomla is easy. The problem is just it takes a long time. But if you just let it run in the background for an hour, before your lunch break, or I don't know, when I'll just let the computer run an hour in the background. The difficulty is waiting for the whole thing to finish. Okay. What do you want me to show you? Let's have a look at different. I could show you more things, or is that getting too much then?
No, move on. Move on.
Move on. I show you more. Yeah, from next week on, we'll always be in the computer room, so you'll just be working on your CMS. If I want to show you something, I can show you in the computer room. But from next week on, we'll always spend 3 hours in the computer room. Okay, so let's have a look how we change templates. So this is the template I'm using at the moment. Look, if I change to another template. Yeah.
You've not got it on the. You're using dual screen.
Oh, sorry. Did I do that for a long time? For an hour or so?
Yeah.
Did you see anything?
Did you see it on? Go.
Okay. Let's go back. Yeah, so that was how it looked like before. I want a different style. I just pick a different template.
How did you get into templates?
Extension templates. So I just click the button, I refresh. Yeah, and because the whole content is just stored in a database. And now Joomla will just retrieve the same database content and mix it with a different template.
Is there any better templates than that?
What's the question? Now, many years ago, Joomla had a nice template directory, but they don't have that anymore. If you look for templates, there'll be so many, and the quality is, there's a huge difference in quality, and lots of them cost money, so
we've only got an option 2 then, and that's it.
no, you can install whatever you want, but the problem is that there's so many out there. Some are good, some are bad, some are free, some cost money.
No directory at all of them now.
There are lots of directories look, and here, look, this is an ad. So they even paid money so that they appear here. So I'm sure they want to make money in some sort of way.
Yeah, but it's called you or anything,
Look, it already doesn't start good. Here they cost money. Yeah. More than 4,000 free Joomla templates. Yeah. This page has a few nice ones, and depending on who made them and how old they are, some are responsive. So look, I think I mentioned it before. Responsive template, for example, will automatically adjust to the width of your screen.
So how do you do it if you download it and you have to upload it to your folder?
The template?
Yes.
Okay, let's install a template. So I want this template.
Oh, is yours not like a capital letter? No.
Don't you fucking
Okay. So here it is. So I downloaded it. Now I'll install something. Yeah. Yeah, okay, now it's installed. Now if I go to templates, now it's listed here. If you click here on the name, now you can fine tune templates, here's a template description. Here you can see what the different areas of the template are called. I'll talk about that another time. But basically, if you decide I want a menu somewhere, not a menu item, but I want a new menu that is not here before. I want it to appear somewhere. You need to tell the system where should that menu appear, or where should this, whatever you want to include, where should it appear. And here you get a name of all the different areas of this template. The problem is in different templates, the different areas have different names. So the moment you change templates, you might have to move a lot of things around.
Will we get marked down if we don't install one? Or
No, I think I say it somewhere in the handout. It's not about the looks of it. It's about the functionality of your web
Are
page.
these templates on one of your videos?
I don't think I made template video.
Is that just on one?
Yeah, this is very. This looks a bit like for a haircut shop, but this is very picture heavy. So if you want to show, your different haircut styles or whatever, or your different jumpers or whatever it might be, you can put all the pictures in here.
But what's that bit called? So how would you find where that is to change that?
Yeah, the problem is that every template works different. That's why, I'm answering the question because somebody asked about templates. But normally I don't really go too much into templates because, templates is just a big mess to be honest.
can we keep our test open? And when we download our main Joomla,
Yeah.
keep the test on it so we can check back to it or not?
Yeah, you can have as many Joomla installation as you want, as long as they are in different folders. Okay, look here. I can also manage it. So I want a different image as my logo. I can upload the image here. So this is a fairly good template in a sense that it lets me configure lots of things here. I want to have different photos in that slideshow thing at the top. I just upload the photos here. But I assume, let's say it like this. If there are lots of bad templates out there that don't let you configure anything. So it really depends on how good the template is that you picked. And even if you pay for a template, it might not be very good. Any other questions?
So them templates there, you downloaded all that?
No, the first two, Bees and Protostar, came with it. And so Sassy is the one I just downloaded. But like I say, I wouldn't have gone into templates if you hadn't asked. It's about the functionality more than the looks. Of course, then once you've got a good web page, once you've got a good website, then the looks make a difference. But once your web page is very good, I should say website, not web page. Once your website is very good, you can make it even slightly better by making it look even better. But the main points for your grade come from the functionality, not from the look. Any other questions? Yeah, so whatever structure you work with, maybe try to create groups, experiment with that, or you can go with whatever pace you want. You can explore different parts of Joomla, whatever you feel fits your learning style best. But if you don't know what to do today, why not try users and groups? That's based on the assumption that you did last week's handout, where I asked you to create different categories. If you haven't done categories and articles yet, do categories and articles first.
was when we left it.
Okay, thank you.